everybody. Today we're going over the second assignment in our last module, Relationship Between Sport and Society. So as always, you can find this assignment either underneath announcements or content. Again, if you go through content, it is under Sport and Society because that's our newest and last module. On Monday, you read section 1, and for the last 2 days, you've been working on assignment 1, pros and cons. Today, just really quickly read through section 2. It's very, very short, and then you can start working on your discussion board assignment, which is assignment 2. For this assignment, you must answer 2 questions, one related to amateur athletes and one related to professional athletes. So within each theme, you're going to answer a question. So in total, you're going to answer a minimum of 2 questions. And then you're also going to respond to at least one post made by a peer or teacher. It's going to be a peer that you're going to respond to. Some tips for effective responses. 1, responses, so your own discussion post, should contain a minimum of 6 sentences, so it should be a paragraph. And it can often be multiple paragraphs depending on what your topic is and how much information you have about it. Any replies to peers must contain a minimum of 4 sentences. On the last discussion post, there have been a lot of responses that have only been a sentence long, and that's not what we want. We want it to be an effective response, so you're actually trying to add more to the conversation. Responses need to contain specific factual information. Attempt to provide one specific example that illustrates or supports your opinion, and provide a URL link to where a person can find information. Under each of the questions that I'll show you in a little bit, there is at least one source that you can use to look at, but you can always find other sources that support your opinion. 3, review the additional information provided within the questions before responding. This information provides background/historical references that may influence your current opinion, and the information will help define the question more clearly. Next, you can open a second tab or browser window when accessing the additional information, just so it's quicker for you to put the information into the discussion post or response. Next, most often there isn't a right or wrong answer to the topics. These are opinions. So whatever you put, as long as you can back it up with information, that will be fine. And lastly, please respect the opinions of peers. Note that there is an etiquette to using discussion boards, and that's part of your rubric, which I'll show you later. You guys did a really good job of this for the last few posts, so just keep it up. Next, I'm just going to show you what the rubric is going to look like. So in order to see the rubric, you just need to click on one of the discussion posts. And underneath the question, there is the rubric section, Sport and Society Discussion Rubric. So if you click on it, we can see it here. There are 3 criteria components. The first is direct post in response to questions. In order to receive full marks, you need to analyze each question insightfully. Remember that you're going to be doing 2 questions, one for amateur athletes and one for professional athletes. And you need to add multiple unique and detailed ideas. When you're responding to posts of peers, you want to respond to peers in all themes. Responses are insightful and add multiple unique perspectives or counter-arguments. Again, remember that you're writing 4 sentences. It's not just a 1-sentence thing. And then lastly, etiquette provides appropriate postings using proper language, cordiality, grammar, etc. Please make sure that you're rereading your posts before you actually post them. It can be really hard for me to read some of them because they haven't been edited. So please take the time to do that. Going back to our discussion board post assignment page, you can see that there are bolded headings for amateur sports, and if you scroll down, underneath the line is professional sports. For amateur sports, there are 3 questions you can choose from. You only need to answer 1 amateur sport question. And under professional sports, there are 4 questions. Again, you only need to answer 1 of the questions. Then you need to respond to 1 amateur post from a peer and 1 professional post from a peer. This discussion board is going to be a little bit more complicated than the other ones that we've had before, just because there are so many different boards to choose from. I recommend that you access the discussion board post through this assignment page just because it gives you all of the background information as well, not just the question. So really quickly we'll go through these questions. So again, for amateur sports, there are 3 questions you can choose from and you have to answer at least one. First question is about paying college athletes, so it gives some information, and then the question itself: should some of the money that is generated by the athlete be used to pay these athletes more money than what is currently covered by their scholarship? Here are some background information pieces that will help you answer this question, and if you're interested in answering it, you click on this, question 1, discussion board, and it will take you to the correct board. Please make sure that you are putting your discussion board post under the correct discussion board so it doesn't get lost with other questions. Next, we have question 2. Should the Olympic Games return to only allowing amateur athletes to compete? Explain your viewpoint. Again, 2 background information articles that you can read. If you want to complete this question, then click on this link. And then lastly is declining participation in sport. Participation in sport has been in a steady decline. In your opinion, what are the main causes of declining participation in sport? This report will give you a little bit of information about it. And again, if you want to answer this question, click this link. You need to answer at least one of these questions for the assignment for amateur sports. Next, we're going to go down to professional sports. First question: should professional sport leagues have salary caps on the money individual teams spend on their athlete salaries? Here is some background information. Click on the link if you want to answer this question. Question 2, are professional athletes overpaid? Explain your viewpoint with multiple examples. So if it says multiple examples, make sure it's more than one. Some background information, click on this link if you want to answer the question. Next, we have choose a professional sport league and state whether you believe 2 new franchises should be added to the league. Defend your position. Regardless of whether you believe in expansions, choose 2 cities that you think the team should be placed if the league did expand. Some background information, link to the discussion board. And lastly, question 4. Should professional sport leagues and organizations be permitted to set age policies which restrict athletes from competing in the sport, leagues, or events? Here's some background information. And lastly, the link to the discussion board. A reminder, you need to answer 1 amateur sport question and 1 professional sport question. You could do 1 on each day, that's what I would recommend. And then part 2, you're going to be doing on Monday, and you will be responding to a post from a peer on amateur sport and professional sport. I'm really quickly going to show you how you can access these discussion boards through the discussion link at the top of D2L. If you click on discussions, so first is the misleading advertisements, we've already done that. Supplement discussions, we've already done. So we come down to community and amateur sport. So you need to discuss one of the 3 questions here. And if you scroll down, you see each question has its own board. So please make sure that you are using the correct board. Click on the arrow, view topic, whichever one you want, and then start a new thread. Once you do that, enter your subject, write your 6 sentences, and then post it. Next, we have the professional athletics section, so you need to pick which of the 4 questions you want to answer and scroll down to whichever question you want to answer. You see question 3, I have the full question listed down here because it wouldn't fit in the title. So again, make sure that you are picking 1 question that you want to answer, click on the little arrow, view topic, and then start a new thread. On Monday, when you're responding to a post, you can respond to any post and any question as long as you do 1 amateur and 1 professional. You don't have to have written on that question in order to respond to a peer's post in that question. As always, if you have any questions, please email me at ejpak@cbe.ab.ca and have a great rest of your week.